All right, it looks like we're live. Thanks for coming in. Quick sound check. Can everyone hear me? Please just put a yes in the chat box. All right, so everyone can hear me. We'll start. This is the Nailing FX, Simplified FX Trading training session. I am your host here, Opa, Bert Antonik, Opa. You can get a hold of me at opa@tradedictive.com. You can use that email address, and you can sign up for the schedules and to make sure you don't miss any of the other instructors by going to www.tradewithufos.com/OPA. And then go ahead and sign up for that, and you won't miss anything. So let's go ahead and get started here. As you know, I'm coming to you live from Vietnam in Dong Nai province, Binh Hoa City, where at 9 o'clock it was about 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, with partial cloudy. We expect some rain later this afternoon. It's 10 o'clock or just after 10 o'clock here, my local time. If you're in London, it's about 4 a.m., just after 4 a.m. And in the US, it's 11 p.m. the day before. So it's Tuesday night, 11 p.m. in the US. An additional email address that you can use to get a hold of me is fxopabert@gmail.com. fxopabert@gmail.com. All right, so let's continue. This is actually the last session of this month. So next month, I will be doing the Nailing FX sessions on the 1st of July, on the 8th of July, 15th, 22nd, and 29th of July. And remember that if you're on the East Coast, US, it's 11 p.m. the prior day. So that 1st of July is actually the 30th of June for you guys there. So to get the complete schedule at any time, go to www.tradingwithufos.com/OPA. And on that page, you'll see a Get Together button at the top of the page. Click that Get Together button, and you'll see the entire schedule, including the schedule for other asset classes, the sessions that are being run for other asset classes and online classes. You can also stay up to date on Facebook at Forex Pipsville, and that is at FX Pips Trading. So that's all the communication. Let's get into the disclaimer that we need to do. The following videos, clips, demonstrations, presenter guides are for education and instructional purposes only. Tradedictive and Trade with UFOs and its presenters provide trading information purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the products. Users understand that all the content used in the information presented is purely for demonstration purposes only and not instructions to take trades. We never tell you what to trade. That is your prerogative, and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through any presentation or demonstration does not indicate in any way the results you may receive by using products or methodologies we offer. Whew, okay, let's continue. Today is the 4th of the new series of nailing sessions. Last time we did the market timing clock, and we're going to just quickly look at that. And remember, we built the 4 zebra moving averages in a couple of sessions ago. The MACD focus on pivots. Last time we did a look on the pivots and trend, the MACD trend and divergence, and how to correlate that with TradingView. So today we're going to primarily do hunting. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to find some actual trades to do a setup. So we'll be doing some hunting for those trades. All right. So here's the market timing clock. As I mentioned to you before, it's a good resource for you to have. It's at https://market24hclock.com. We'll go over to that in just a few minutes. You'll see how that works. Remember, we're looking at the 4, 8. So we have this profile. It's our enhanced and advanced profile. We'll be looking at the MACD so that we get good information. We can remember in a session way back when we talked about how to read and what the information the MACD tells us. And here we see that the MACD also is very good at giving us divergence information. You can see here prices made new highs, the MACD made a lower high, and so there's a divergence that tells us that price is likely to go down. And we can also use the MACD to help us determine future trend. How about that? Something in the future. So we would take the high of the trend here and a lower high and do a trend projection. And you can see here it crosses, and when the main MACD crosses above that trend line, we should expect that price will rise. And that was confirmed by the profile here as well. You can see here again, price went down while the MACD went up, and we can do a projection to see where price might change direction again. So that's pretty good information to have. But again, we will always correlate that information with the TradingView website. So we are very selective, be very selective, and you can request the trading guides. You can request them from me or go to that website. And then I don't think they're posted yet on the website. They will be very shortly, and that's going to be the best place to get the information. So let's go ahead and start right in, see what we can do with finding out about a trade, see if we can find a trade here. So let me go ahead and get out of this. Yeah, my video is in the way here. Boom, let's move that over. And let's go to the chart. Here is a chart. We're looking at a 15-minute chart here right at this point. I don't know if that opens up anymore. No, it doesn't. All right, so and down below you can see the MACD with the MACD pivot indicator. So you can also get, I'll give you that pivot indicator. It'll become available through the link at Tradewithufos/OPA. I don't know I don't know exactly when that's going to be available, but it will be. Okay. Let me see here. We got someone coming in. All right. All right. So we are going to, let's take a look here. Let's look at the higher time frame first of all. And we're looking at the Euro USD. We'll go to the 1 hour. 1 hour here. All right, so what is it telling us? Take a look at this, all right? Take a look at what we're seeing here. Remember, what we were looking for before is we're looking for pivot So the pivot changed. It was coming down in the MACD, and it changed color, it changed to blue. So at that point, the MACD was indicating that there might be a change in direction, okay? And it continued to go blue, and then it finally crossed the signal line, And at this point right here, right there, it actually closed above the profile, all of the profile. But the profile wasn't in 100% sequence at that point. 100% sequence means that the blue would be over the red, over the green, over the brown. That happened in here, in this area right in here. But you see this little arrow here, I've also created a little indicator that tells me when the blue line crosses the red line. And that's what we want to know. We want to know when the blue line crosses the red line. Why do we want to know that? Because that tells us what? It tells us that we have an alert. This is the alert period. And we know that if we get a close above the alert period, we see that there is a likelihood that price will continue to move up. Okay, so it did in fact move up, and then finally it did go into 100% sequencing. So what would we have done? We would have looked at this and tried to identify, let me see if I can, oh, my picture is in the way here again. Let me move this down so that I don't keep having to futz around with it. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to see what I've got here on the Euro USD. Oh, before I do that, let me look at the market timing clock so that you see what the clock tells me. Okay, we should have done that first. I jumped ahead. Look, let's get this to line up pretty good here. All right, so here's the market timing clock. You see it's 10 o'clock. We just, it looks like 10:07, if that's the correct time. 10:17 is the correct time. And you can see here the hour hand is pointing into this area, and you see all this orange. That means that the Tokyo exchange is trading, Shanghai is trading, Hong Kong is trading, Singapore is trading, Sydney is trading, and New Zealand, Wellington, the Kiwi is trading. All right, so there's some good trading. In just a little bit, Mumbai will also come in. So the best time to trade actually was in this little gray area here, starting at about, let's see, that would have been just after 7 a.m. my local time, because I'm in +7. All right, so there's some good trading. So it's not a lot of high movements, but it's good trading, and especially if you are starting out, this is a good time to trade, because you usually will not get crazy swings during this time. And it also is a good idea to know what's happening in this time frame, in this session, because later on you can see at 2 o'clock my time, here, that gray area there, there's where a lot of trading comes in, a lot of trading right at that point in time when the London session will begin. All right, so you can see here this trading clock gives you a lot of good information. It also has the individual clocks put on there so that you can check them out. You don't have to have them on. All right, so now let's go ahead and go to the 1 hour here of the euro on, and see what we got here. All right, let me move this over. And let's go ahead and bring up our split screen. I need to take that off so I can look at this section in here. All right. There we go. All right. So here we see the same setup. The same setup here. This gave me a little bit of a heads up here when I saw the cross happen. There's the cross right there, same spot. And we look down to see if we get confirmation using the auto climate down here. See the auto climate. The auto phase had already given us an indication that price would be going up, okay? And we didn't get any additional auto phase. So we were waiting for price, according to the auto phase, to break or close above the high of this auto phase alert period, okay? But we know that going back to the MT4 chart, we could take the crossover as the alert period and look at that, okay? So at that crossover, we can see that we wanted to go in at the high of that. So there was that, and our risk on an hourly chart would be 40 pips. And so that's our T1. So 40 pips was right up here. So no problem getting there as far as the MT4 shows. And then we go to the 1.5 and the 2, etc. And because the profile stays in 100% sequencing, we have good opportunities. We see here that the MACD showed us a little bit of a pullback. The strength was to the upside. The strength was to the upside. So what we're looking at here, we can see here at this point, the climate kicked in and said, you know what, I definitely think we should be going north. Should be looking at a buy opportunity at that point, okay? And where is that here? That is right there on the chart. We had a little pullback. It's not unusual for price to pull back to the blue line. Remember, the blue line is our direction. The red line is our street. The green line is the guardrail, and the brown line is, you know, the way out. If we cross that, we definitely don't want to be running on that side. So we don't have the brown line on the chart over on this side here, trading view chart. So we can see that it did tell us there was a strong opportunity for us to go long. Everything lined up at that point, and we should be able to, at that point, look to see how far we would be going until we hit the opposing sell zone. Now that sell zone that you see there may have been created in here, so it probably didn't exist back at this point in time. So it had to come up for a little bit. So you've got a lot of confluence in the indication. So let's take a look now. It says that we are good to go long. Move this down here, good to go long. I'm going to open this up. So here the auto climate is telling us we are good to go long here. It pulled back actually into the, this buy zone, which is right on top of another buy zone. So I think that it would have been a good, it could be, we might still be able to get in on this trade. We are looking down here. The strength of that should last for about 7 periods. So we're in the 4th period now, because you see the 4 blue dots, big, thick, heavy dots. Okay, so that's the 4th period. So we've got 3 more hours that the price is likely to continue to move up. Okay, so let's go ahead and look again here. And all right, so what do we see here? We see that the MACD is telling us that we're in a bit of a pullback right now. So I would say that maybe the best thing to do is to give it a little bit of a wait. So what's our top of the buy zone that we have right here? You can see that top is 1.3127. All right, so let's see if we can find 1.3127 over here. And so I'm going to go ahead and put in a buy limit. Oh, yes. All right, I'm going to go way down here and put in the buy limit. Yeah, I've got a buy limit, but I'm going to go ahead and move that up to 1.31273. Very, very hard to see. I didn't grab my magnifying glass. Okay, I think it's somewhere around there. It's actually up a little higher, 1.31. Okay, that's close enough. All right, so there is my limit buy, right? So I've got a limit buy here at 1.3127. Where is my stop? Okay, my stop. I know my stop is at the pivot down here, right? At the pivot, or below the zone here, but we've got 2 zones very close. So I'm going to take the pivot, and that's at 1.3026, 1.3026, right? 1.3026. So what I'm going to do is go here and modify, right? Modify, and put my stop down at 1.3026, I think it was 1.3075. Just moving that down. 305. 42726, and hit the modify. All right, so there you see that stop is set up just below. Actually, I can pull it down a little bit now, I think. There we go. All right, so what's it at? We can see here, and I can measure what the distance between those is, so I can measure that, and that's about 70 pips. So I've got to go up Well, that's 100. Whoops. So I just do everything right off the chart. So there is that looks like 7. Here it is up here. It's not a big move. All right, so 8. That just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. I'm gonna put it at 8.1. That's 1.13179. 13179. 13179. So what do? I go here again. Go ahead here. I want to modify. And so take profit. My initial take profit is 13179. All right, modify. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up just a bit more where I can see. So it looks, that doesn't seem like a lot, and it's not. It's only an 8 pip move, but again, what do we have? What we're looking at is we're looking at the process. Okay, now this could be a much bigger trade at some other point in time, and I will go ahead and send that information out so we have the trade. It's a small trade, so I'm surprised how small it is on the 1-hour chart, but the Euro USD is not one of the high movers at this point in time. So we'll see how this shakes out. Okay, you can see here my spread is very, very small, 1.0 to 1 point on the spread. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our next what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and look at the yen. Okay, we're looking at the yen here. So basically the yen, I can tell right off, looking at the yen, we don't have anything that really helps us because what I see is that we are kind of drifting in the middle of no place. We don't have anything on the 1-hour chart. Let's go ahead and see if we have anything on the 15. Yeah, the 15 is telling us that, but we, again, 4.35, another 15 minutes, and what's the time now? This will be done in about 10 minutes. So this is not going to really help us much in here. So 15-minute tells us that there is a potential for a buy. Okay, there is the potential for a buy. Let's take a look at, let's see, we had US yen. Go ahead and look at the US yen over here and change that to a 15-minute. Okay. So yeah, you see, it's telling us there's a buy. It's telling us there's a buy. We are basically oscillating, around the 0 line here. So there's not a lot of strength to this move. It's coming down a little bit. It might come into this zone, but what's the pay on this? That's first of all, if we got into it at this point in time, let's look down here. We're looking at a 10 pip stop with obviously T1 would be a 10 pip target. So there is some opportunity here at 106, 508, 106, 508. But this is going to be very short-lived, very short-lived. Like I said, 10 minutes, I would wait and see what happens on this. If we get another blue dot down here, this blue may go away and become a small blue or even a red. So there's not a really good feeling for this, and you can see here that the MACD also gave us a pivot. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at something else. How about the Aussie? Aussie might still be showing us something. This is saying that the Aussie we're in the 15. Let's go ahead and go back up to the hour. Work from the higher time frames going down. Okay, so the Aussie, we've got 4 heavy, fat, thick, whatever you want to call it, blue dots. It should last for about 6, so there's about 2 hours more for this to go up. Let's see, we got blue, red, green sequencing. So on the hourly chart, we're looking pretty good for that to go up. So let's go ahead now and take a look at what the Aussie, where is my Aussie? Come on, Aussie. Here it is. Okay. And go to the hourly here. All right, so we are seeing that the Aussie has pulled back. Okay, we can see that right in here. I don't have my pivots on here, so let me go ahead and add the pivots, make it a little bit easier to see. Oh my goodness. Here's the MACD pivots. Whoops, cancel. I need to drag this onto that chart. And there's the pivots. Now the pivots aren't showing exactly correct because it needs to catch up with the data. But I can see that the pivot is showing that we had a downward, we had a high pivot, and now we're going down. So this should come down a little bit. It's still showing because it's above the zero, it's still showing that we have a potential for price to move up. Okay. I would have liked to see a pivot above the signal line so I could draw a trend line and get an idea of where price might change direction to the upside in the future if this pulls down. Okay, so let's take a look here again. What do we see on the hourly chart? We see that if it pulls down to the 0.69345, 0.69342. Oh no, is that? Let me read it off there. 0.69346. That's the top of the buy zone. So we are pretty good, looks pretty good for entering into the buy zone if price pulls back to that level. Okay, so that's 69346, and I wish that these charts had a better, larger scale on it. 6.9, I'm very difficult for me to see. 69436. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and throw in. But before we jump into this 1 hour, let's go ahead and see what it looks like a little bit below. Okay, so we see we had a cross here. So price is actually dropping on the 15-minute. So price would have to be turning around. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 5. So on the 5, you can see that price actually has gone below 0. It has a pivot now. You see the data has caught up. We have a pivot here. Not a pivot. We have a continuation of the movement to the downside. But there, you see the blue just popped in. So that's live. That'll fluctuate until the period ends. And once the period ends, then it locks in, right? So during the period, price changes, goes up and down, vibrates. And so the indicator will also match that vibration. Otherwise, you would get a false reading. So we see that price comes down. Here you see dropped a little bit, and here we stayed red. It pulls up a little bit, and we got blue, right? So I would think that we probably have a good opportunity for price to pull down, hit our buy limit, and then head north. We'll see how that shakes out. And what would the stop be? Now I'm going to be looking at this. Okay, where is the stop? I'm going to turn off the refresh. Here's the top. This is Aussie. This is Aussie. A little bit different because, you know, whoever is providing the data, it's a little bit different here. I'm looking at this stop. Where is this? Shouldn't be all the way down here, but you know, it looks like it. Let's see if we can find that stop here. 69238, 69238. Oh, I forgot to bring my magnifying glass so that I can see the 69. Well, I guess it is down here. All right, so my stop. I'm looking at 5-minute. What am I looking at over here? Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, over here I'm looking at the hour. Yeah. All right. Here we are. Here we are. Okay. This hasn't caught up yet. Six, nine. to, that looks like where the stop belongs, down there, and the entry is going to be 69346, 6933546. Be right here somewhere, right up here. All right, so let's go ahead and put in a buy limit. And now I'm going to go ahead and modify that by taking this down. And I can adjust it. Now, although I always look for the stop first, I can't put it in unless I put in an order. So the platform forces me to put in an entry, although I always look to where I know I'm going to be putting in the stop. So now I can measure for my T1. That's just 12 pips. And so let's go ahead and see what 12 pips looks like. Wow, that's not too much. Yeah, right about there. So I get in modify and take profit, push that up. And modify, let's find it and move it right up about there. There we go. All right. So not big trades, you know, 12 pips and 8 pip trades. So 12 pips and 8 pips is 20 pips. If I make 20 pips on both of the, you know, on a combination of these two trades, I'm done for the day. You say, wait, Bert, what, 20 pips? That's all? Yep. I can show you, and I will show you in a future session, if you can make 20 pips on average per day trading, you can make basically all the money that you ever want. But we never focus on the money. We are pips. We are looking for pips. Always, always focusing on getting pips. All right, so we've got that trade in as well. Let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and see if we can find something else. Because of the session that we're in, I'm going to go ahead and jump to the NZD USD. Someone says, try Aussie USD. Okay, we just did Aussie USD. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and jump to the NZD USD. That's going to be very, very similar. Should be very similar at the hourly chart here. Should be very similar to the Aussie, and it's showing a sell. That's interesting. Whoops. Why did that get? All right. So let's see what's happening here. Where we are, I see the sequence. You see the sequence here? Sequence is down. This is showing me the auto phase, right? The auto phase is telling me that this is the alert period, okay? And if price closes above this high, it's going to go long, but it's going to run right into these sell zones up here. So it's a little unusual that the Kiwi is not conforming with the Aussie. So, but let's take a look and see what the Kiwi's doing. We should see something very similar.
Go over here and see if we can find it. No, it doesn't. And yeah, here he is, NZD. And go to the 1 hour. Oh, you see, we've got the same look here. Oh, we've got to go ahead and add again my MACD pivot, drag it down, say okay, and it went right to it, so we're good. All right, so here we can see here, this little red arrow down here says that we have a crossing of the blue line across the red line, okay? So we don't have 100% or full sequencing on this yet because it hasn't. So, but this is dropping down pretty good. Where can it go? Can it go down to the buy zone down here? It's telling me that this should last, from what I see here, six periods. We're in another 4 hours of downward move. So perhaps what we'll see is 4 hours of downward move going to this buy zone. Okay, let's take a look at how strong that buy zone might be. All right, let's see. Where is that buy zone? That buy zone was created back here. Whoops. All right. Actually, no, that's not the buy zone. The buy zone is up here. Whoops. All right, so we have another buy zone that is sitting down here. All right, so I have my doubts about this buy zone. I think that we're probably safer to see price come down to the lower ones, especially with 4 hours left for this to be trading and dropping. And then we'll see where this comes up. Now we can go ahead and take a little ruler here and measure from here up to, I can't see it. Let's try it again. This time and go the other way. So that's a 92 pip move. 92 pip moves that we're looking at there. Let me confirm that with okay, NZD 1 hour. Need to go ahead and tighten that up a little bit. So this is from here down to here. I've got about a 75 pip move Here is the alert period that was confirmed here with the close above. Everything confirmed. Nice crossing. Very, very nice here. Okay. So I don't see an alert. Oh, yes, we do. We have this one down here. Right. So we're looking for a close below this low, which would take us down into this first zone. See if I can tighten that up here a little bit. There we go. All right, so the first zone is in this area right in here. And the second zone is down at the bottom here, down at the bottom. Okay. So how big of, let me go ahead and put a line in there. Where is my drawing tools? Oh, I'm going to have to find my drawing tools because I've got it tools, because I've got it squashed together. I don't see my drawing tools here. Let me quickly just move this out. Here. Put a line in here as a target. And then put another one down here as a target. So NZD USD, if this closes below this low, that's you know, I'm hesitant to look at that. I'm really shy on this because this has got such a big tail that it looks like they ran some stops for this, although everything is saying that this will likely come down. Let's take a look at, get rid of those lines. I'm going to draw, here's an opportunity to draw a trend line. So let's go ahead, whoops. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. All right, so, and go ahead and, so just so that you see what I'm talking about when we are talking about drawing the trend line to give us an indication of the future. So let me go ahead and check this trend line. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. All right, so here we go. You see we have a high pivot followed by another high pivot. So that would have been a trend line that we would have looked at. So, you know what? Let me do this. Let me, whoops, go ahead and make this large so we can really see it. All right, so now we've got this high pivot. And we've got this high pivot. And it says that at this point, the price should have been going up. Now we can see that the price did go up, but it started to roll over, go down. Why? Because we cut through the signal line. That's a no-no. We don't want to be cutting into the signal line. So let's go ahead and activate that. And let me go ahead and bring it over to this point. Okay, now we see that we have two high points and no nothing touching in between. So now this is a good line, and we can take a look. Obviously, you can't see that far in the future, but when the MACD crosses back up over this trend line that we created here, see if we can bring this down now. Okay. If we look at that in the future, I don't know how far out that's going to be, and we're on an hourly chart, so that's going to be quite some time. It's telling me that price is going to be heading up again, and that'll be especially true if this trend line happens to, and I'll just draw it in here just for the sake of looking. All right, so that'll be especially true if the trend line in the future here that we see comes down and comes close to the zero line, and price crosses up above that zero line. Let me go ahead and show you what it might look like, something like that, okay? So that extension, that trend line extension out in the future, you leave that on your chart, and you know, when price comes up and crosses that, like right here it did, that will be an indication. You look up everything, and there's an opportunity for you to do an evaluation. All right, so looks like my time is up. We got 2 trades that are in. They're small trades, but we followed the process, right? Follow the process, and that's the important thing. You're going to try to manage your trades for pips. See if we got any other questions. No more questions? Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for coming into the session. Please keep up with the place that I'm going to be showing my next trades. Next Wednesday, I will be on the Trading with UFOs YouTube site, so you need to watch it on the YouTube. So it alternates, not every other week, but between YouTube and FX Street. So thanks very much again for coming on. I will go ahead and put those trades up in the information section, and we'll see what happens. I'm signing off, and have a great weekend. Oh, it's not a weekend, that's Wednesday. Have a great hump day. Wednesday is hump day. Thanks a lot.